Hey everyone, in today's prepping quick tip, I want to talk about water filters. This is one of the most important things in preparedness, and also something that's really easy to solve. You buy yourself a water filter, you put it in your bag or on your shelf, and it stays there. You don't have to worry about it expiring, and the odds are that you probably won't need to use it for a few years unless something happens. Unless it's something you have like the big Berkey here where you put it in your kitchen and you use it on a daily basis, and all you have to do is replace those filters every once in a while. But it is, until you understand all of this stuff, it is a little bit more confusing than a lot of people think it is. A lot of people get into preparedness and they buy themselves a LifeStraw or Sawyer Mini and think they're good to go. There's a little bit more that goes into it than that. So with that, before I get into the microns and everything, I wanted to explain the difference between a high country filter and a low country filter. A high country filter are those low cost, the Sawyer Mini, the LifeStraw, those things that are going to get the Giardia, the Cryptosporidium, the stuff that is in water from nature. Those are high country filters. Those may serve your needs in an urban area, but the odds are there's going to be a lot more stuff in that water that you're going to want to get out. And that's where you would want a low country water filter like the big Berkey, like the jerry can water filter, something that is going to filter out viruses, something that's smaller size in microns, something that's going to filter out some of the chemicals, some of the heavy metals and all of that stuff, that stuff that would be found in an urban area. So just keep that in mind as you're getting these things. First, let's start with microns. Now, microns is how all of this stuff is going to be measured. So as you're looking on Amazon, you'll see the different micron ratings and sizes and all that. You might see the nominal rating or the absolute rating. And the only difference between these two is a nominal is 90% effective to that micron rating. So 90% at 0.1 microns, where an absolute micron rating is nothing is getting through that is larger than what it's rated for. So with this, you can see how big a micron is. This is a human hair, and you see that a micron is just a really tiny dot compared to the size of a human hair. So these nasties that are in this water, you're not going to be able to see them, and that's why it's important when you're up hiking or whether you're searching for an emergency water source that you clean that as much as possible just in case. Now, with these, I wanted to talk about how big these different microorganisms might be. So Giardia and Cryptosporidium, Salmonella, all of those bacteria, they're usually between 1 and 10 microns in size. So most of these high country water filters, if not all of them, are going to get a whole lot of that stuff. When you get to the viruses and the chemicals and all that stuff, that's where it changes a little bit, because viruses can be down to 0.004 to 0.1 in size. So these high country water filters are not going to get the viruses and stuff like that. I think the coronavirus, just as an example, is 0.014 to 0.01, somewhere in that range. So really small. So you're going to need a filter that's going to get all of that stuff. Now, speaking of that, you've got different media types for filters, and I wanted to go through that a little bit. You have the solid block carbon filters, which are the best. These, if the filter has these, are probably more expensive than the $15 to $20 filters you'll see at the LifeStraws and the Sawyer Minis and stuff. But it is the best as far as filtering that stuff out. Then you've got the granulated carbon filter, which is basically the same thing but broken up, but it doesn't have the surface area that a solid block carbon filter would have, so it's not going to get as much as the solid block, or it's not going to be as effective as the solid block. And then you've got the hollow fiber filters, and these are the Sawyer Minis and stuff like that. That basically a bunch of little straws inside a tube that filter all of this stuff out. Nothing bigger than that micron rating is going to get through that stuff. And then you also have UV filtration. You got the Steri pens, which is basically a little wand. The problem with this is if you're thinking about quantity, that little Steri pen is not going to do a whole lot, but they are effective. Same thing as putting a jug of water out in the sun. Although if you keep that jug of water out there too long, it's going to start growing stuff on you and all that. One more thing is, and this is not filters, but this is the water tablets that we hear about all the time as well. You get on Amazon and you look at this stuff, and you'll think that you're getting something that is going to protect you against all this stuff, but you're not getting the best. If you don't pay attention, you're not getting the best of these tablets or drops. In this chart right here, and you can pause this video if you want, you've got the chlorine, you've got the iodine, and then you've got the chlorine dioxide. And the chlorine dioxide is the best one. As you can see on this chart, it's highly effective against all of this stuff. But it does take the longest. So just pay attention. Some of these tablets and drops are for storage rather than for safety and all that. So just pay attention and know what you're getting. Like I said, pause this if you need to. Write this down, or I've got a link to an article over at Survivalist Prepper that can help you with all of this stuff. So with this, I wanted to go through a few of the filters that I would recommend from Amazon, that I would recommend for preppers. If you're just getting into this, or if you've been doing this for a while, you'll know. If you've been doing this for a while, you'll know there's a whole lot of different filters and a whole lot of different choices. But if you're just getting into it and you don't have anything yet, these are a few that I would recommend. The first one is my favorite. These are the Sawyer products, and there's a couple different. Sawyer's got a whole bunch of different brands, but the Sawyer Mini is the one you're going to see a lot in preparedness in the preparedness community. The Sawyer Mini filters down to 0.1 micron. There's a lot of different things you can do with this Sawyer Mini, as far as if you wanted to do your DIY, your own DIY 5-gallon bucket, kind of like the Berkey. You could do something like that. But the Sawyer Mini is great. It's low cost. You can put it in your bug out bag, in your vehicle, wherever you want. You can get a few of them. But keep in mind that this is a high country water filter, so it's only going to do so much. But for $20, it's a kind of a why not type situation to me. The same thing that I just said about Sawyer goes with the LifeStraw. LifeStraw is another one that is good, that high country water filter, depending on where your emergency water sources might be. This may be enough for you. But the difference between the Sawyer and the LifeStraw is that the LifeStraw, where you can figure out systems to filter a large amount of water. The LifeStraw is basically you stick it into a stream or a lake or a pond or something like that, and you suck the water out of it. So the LifeStraw, that's why I said I like the Sawyers better than the LifeStraw. The other one is the Katadys, and this one is a little bit more expensive than the other two, but it's a higher quality filter. And Katadys makes a whole bunch of different types of filters too, ranging from like this $60 up to $300-400. So Katadys, if you do have the money for it, if it's something you're going to use quite a bit, then maybe you do want to go this level. A lot of hikers use the Katadys. And then finally, a prepper favorite is the big Berkey water filter, and this is a water filter for in your home. These are with the different types of filters that you can get for these, and the filters I think are about $100 a piece. But they filter out a whole lot of stuff, heavy metals, some chemicals, viruses, all of that different stuff that you might need. Now, keep in mind, there is not a filter made that's going to filter out all the different types of chemicals. So do your research and think about the different water sources in your area. Think about what would happen if, the water got turned off in your house. What you would have to do. These are perfect for city water, where you're just filtering out that stuff that may still be in there. Perfect for that. But when you're talking about a grid down SHTF type scenario, you may need something that's a little bit more robust. And this big Berkey, depending on which filters you use, could do the trick. So at any rate, like I said, filtering is it's not brain surgery or anything, but it is one of those things you really need to understand, because you can't see all of that stuff in there. And if you just go by some of these websites you might read telling you to get a Sawyer and put it in your bug out bag, or get a LifeStraw and you're good to go, that's not necessarily the case. So you need to understand a little bit more about how all of this stuff works, what different filters how different filters work, basically. So with that, if you have any questions, comments, I know this is pretty basic, but dig into some of these things and do a little bit more research. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below or send me an email and I can answer those for you. But until the next prepping quick tip, I will talk to everyone later. Take care and prepare.